welcome into what doubles as not only kind of a broadcast studio, but also, as you can see, kind of an art studio. Several things going on over there, but yeah, glad to squeeze in here. One of the one thing that I kind of regret is that we can't do this every day at the same time. And when we started doing the at-home update, I said it's going to be based on what time I can get home and when I can get set up and what's going on at the office. And I wish I could tell you every day, at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, that's when it's going to start. But that's just probably not going to be the case, because some days I get out of the office a little bit quicker, other days takes a little bit longer. But whatever time it is, you always seem to show up, and I do appreciate it. Some of you will not be watching this live, obviously. Some of you will be joining us later in the day, and that's all good too. But if you are here live right now, you can join the conversation. It's a very easy thing to do. It's just like any other Facebook post. All you have to do is comment at the bottom of the page, side of the phone, wherever it is. For you, you can tell me where you're watching and tell me what's happening in your life. You can tell me what concerns you this morning, and we'll see what we can do. I see all of your comments, just like I see Algie is up this morning. Good morning to you. Also, Margaret Bertrand says good morning as well. Good morning to you, Margaret. Thank you for the blessings. Jesse Lemire, I hope you're doing all right. Margaret is up, as I said, watching in orange this morning. Hi, Kelly Tran. How's your day? Mary Clayton is up with us this morning. Mary, I turned the music off as well. And again, don't forget, also Michelle is up this morning there in Groves. Hi, Michelle. If you've got a second, do me a favor too and hit us with a like. That's just the circle with the thumb. And the reason we always, there are three things you'll always hear people say when they're doing some kind of live social media. It'll be subscribe, share, and like. And there are reasons that they do that because it affects how their product is distributed. The more likes you get, the more shares you get, the more thumbs up you get. All of those things figure into how the companies distribute their product. So if more and more people are watching, then more and more people will be distributed the product. So it's just a way of trying to get the word out that we do the morning update from home. And if you like it, do it. If you don't, give us give me a sad face, mad face, whatever, and I'll know. Or just post a comment. Why are you wasting my time? Whatever you feel like you need to say this morning, we want to be the outlet for you to be able to say that. Hi, Mary. How are you this morning? Bridget is up. She is watching as well in Warren this morning. Always good. I don't consider Warren to be upcountry for me, Bridget. I'm sure some folks, if you live down in Port Arthur, but in Beaumont, I don't know. It's not that far for me to make a drive to Warren or to get up to Comus Neal or anywhere in that, Woodville in that direction. This morning as we start the day, it's a little bit cold out there, but it's not going to stay that way. We're going to have a very pleasant day across southeast Texas. In fact, if you caught Chad's forecast this morning on the morning show, that we're talking about temperatures getting into the 70s. I've had a lot of people ask me over the course of the last couple of months, what's going on with the morning show? Well, a lot of changes are going on with the morning show, and one of them is technically based, technology based, and that's the fact that we had a ransomware attack, and it just kind of, to be honest, crippled us to the point that we haven't been able to do the 4.5 hours of the show live. We're hoping that that is about to end. I cannot give you a date that is going to happen. I also am going to let the cat out of the bag here. I guess I could do this. I'm not sure if that's really fair. Maybe she wants to do it. But I think I will, and I don't think she'll have a problem with it. We're going to lose Jillian Furtick in the near future. I'm very happy for her. She's got another job here in town. It's going to be a job that I know she's going to enjoy and one that still has her interacting with the community, but she is getting out of the television news business, and I understand that. But I am going to miss her. She's been a very, very valued friend and certainly co-worker who's taken a very large part of what it takes to put the show together onto her shoulders and carried it many days, especially when one of us is out. You know how much the other is doing. But I will miss her, and we'll talk more about that in the future. But I just wanted to let you know changes are coming, and we'll continue. Let's get into what's happening in your headlines this morning. Coronavirus still out there, and is still one of those things that people are talking about. Some are talking about it in a different way or in a different voice than others. I get that. but it's still important that we show you the numbers. Here's the latest COVID-19 hospitalization rate for we are trauma region R. So when you see TSA R, that's trauma service area, but that's TSA. We are trauma service area R. That includes Jefferson, Hardin, Orange, Jasper, Newton, Galveston, Chambers, Liberty, and Brazoria counties. All of those counties. So when you see a statewide report like this and it says 24.48, that's not just in Beaumont, that's for all of the hospitals in all of those counties, that 24% of all of those patients are there because they tested positive for COVID. Now, are they there because of the symptoms of COVID? Not necessarily, right? Because some people are affected by COVID and then it presents itself in another way, or it creates a problem because they have pre-existing issues, which certainly over the course of the last 2+ years we've talked a lot about. 276 new positive cases in that 9-county area, plus 2 additional deaths in the last 24 hours. Now we break it out for you and show that Jefferson County, 287 new cases, Orange County 13, Hardin 55, Tyler 30, Jasper 31, Newton 8. Now, 287 in Jefferson County, that is significant. These are lab confirmed COVID-19 positives. These are not at-home tests. Who knows how many of those you've had? Because a lot of people who are showing minor symptoms and they take the test and it comes back positive, they're not going to go to the hospital and they're not going to go and get tested someplace else. Some are going to go about their business and pretend like it never happened, and others are going to say, okay, I know what to do now. You know, I'm going to stay at home, I'm going to isolate, I'm going to take care of other people beside myself. Lots of articles out there about what's going on with the Omicron variant, and you can find all of them, including stories now about the real dilemma facing a lot of people. What do I do if I test positive? But I don't feel bad, and the pressure is on maybe from my employer, you know, that we're too shorthanded already, or I feel like I've got a major project going on, I can't step away from it at this moment. Then they go back to work, and, you know, even though you don't feel bad, doesn't mean that you're not going to share something with somebody to make them feel bad, if not deathly ill. But again, we're living with the COVID virus among us now. We all are going to have to make some decisions, and we're all going to have to come to that point where, you know, you make the choice, and how you make that choice and where you go from there is solely resting on you, majority of the time. All right, also this morning talking about the number of deaths. This is an interesting statistic I would not have seen coming. By the way, we have the second highest percentage of hospitalization in the state of Texas. We were the highest until these numbers, which indicated a bit of a decline. And maybe we're seeing a little bit of a drop off. Maybe we peaked. There's no real way to know, you know, until, you know, we see the numbers come up the next couple of days. But there are some suggestions that maybe we've seen a peak. We'll see. Hardin County, though, is one of the hardest hit counties in the area, and statistically speaking, 33% higher chance of death, or number of deaths per 1,000 people in Hardin County than there are in Jefferson County. Of course, population size is much smaller in Hardin County as well, but they're doing the best they can, according to their county health director, to make sure people who need it are getting infusion, which is harder and harder to come by. The county judge is very involved, and, you know, we'll see how it goes. Again, just reading some of the different things that are coming up, some of your different comments this morning. Remember, I'm obviously not going to take things that are profanity laced and put them on the air just because I can't. You know, it may not be much to you. It may not, you know, it may come in your ears and out others, but others find it offensive. So unfortunately, when that happens, I cannot use the comments. But let me just say that they're there. I'm reading them, and I'm definitely, in fact, maybe I'm being distracted because I am reading them. This is the warmest December since 1889, according to the latest numbers. This is, by the way, the Texas Tribune. If you're looking for an interesting source for Texas news, especially if you're looking for something that deals with the politics of Texas, with the economy of Texas, with the health of Texas, let me suggest that you give them a look. You make the decision, as always, on where you want to get your information. I just personally think there's some pretty good journalism going on here. This is Emily Hernandez byline. She's talking about what happened in December, and here it is. I mean, the hottest December since 1880, the daily average temperature, 59 degrees, according to the state's climatologist. That's roughly 12 degrees warmer than the average Texas December during the 20th century. The previous modern record set in 1933, when the average temperature was 53.3. Now, the all-time record, 1889, slightly warmer than what we saw this year. Yeah, just barely. Just thought it was kind of an interesting story. You know, I think we all tend to think that, you know, if you're into December, then it's supposed to be cold, right? But do you know what our average temp should be for the 13th? You can say the 12th, the 13th of January, the 11th. It's been the same, 67 degrees for the afternoon high. I don't know why. I always jump that, you know, oh, it should be at least 50 for the high, maybe even colder. But no, when you average it all out, 67 is the average temp. So today we're pretty close, a couple of degrees above, but not that much above. We'll continue to watch that. Also this morning, a sign of the times. Been to the grocery store and struggled with what you're paying. A lot of other places that you may be going and outlaying your hard-earned cash. Inflation is biting us in the butt. I don't think there's much denying that. And a lot of people are feeling it in a lot of different places. And one of the places that we're seeing it is not quite as obvious as others. Restaurants are feeling it. Look at this. USA Today, blame inflation. Domino's Pizza reducing the number of wings in their deal orders. So, you know, let's see how many ordering wings from Domino. Says the chain is planning to cut back on the number of wings it offers in some orders, citing increased cost linked to inflation. Normally, you would get 10 pieces. But now you're going to get 8 pieces for order for $7.99. Again, just indicative of other things that are going on, a sign of the times that we're living in. Last year, Consumer Price Index, 7% surge, fastest pace since 1982. What are you going to the grocery store these days and seeing that they may have few of or none of? Somebody told me they went to one of the stores and they were saying they drink soft drinks, and they were saying there was none on the shelves of a particular brand. Now there were others, but this particular brand they were looking for, there were none. And I guess we all go to whatever, you tend to kind of gravitate towards. You're going to notice whether it's there or not. For me, breakfast food, frozen breakfast, like the bowls that you can buy. Some places they just don't have them. Is it, and I guess it also points to the problem. It's a myriad of problems. It's not just one thing that's causing the issue, right? You have a lot of these things, a confluence, of things that are happening, whether it's, people sick and not producing at the same number they were pre-pandemic, the shipping issues that we've all heard about, stocking issue, whatever it might be. It is going, and it is affecting, the economy, and certainly we are paying more when we go to the grocery store. All right, one final story before we get out of here this morning. I just thought this is a good way to end. We were talking about records just a minute ago. How about this record? Rio Grande Valley woman breaks the record for most birds spotted in a year. Texas Monthly, Will McCartney's byline, Tiffany Kirsten saw 726 species of birds in 48 states, set a new record for bird spotting, bird watching. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, apparently you have to be willing to go at a moment's notice. You know, when all of these different species are in different places, if you want to get the record, you got to go there. End of December, after she drove 49,000 miles, hopped on more than 50 flights across the country, Kirsten, 35, broke the American Birding Association record for the most birds identified in the lower 48 states in a calendar year. Remember the movie, The Big Year? Well, she had it. Self-directed version of The Amazing Race, 726 species topped the previous high of 724. Last year, she was unemployed, stressed about paying her mortgage, and now here she is flying all over the country. So, you know, I don't know about you, but it's like, okay, if you got no money, how does that happen? How do you have the ability to do that? Read on, find out. More investigation coming. But again, that's Texas Monthly. Go check it out for yourself. All right, that brings us to the end of our get-together on this Thursday morning. I do appreciate your taking time to drop by. Do want to remind you too, of course, you can always catch up on what's happening in your headlines, whether it's something that maybe you want to read in more depth, then you can do that by going to our website, which is kfdm.com. You can also go to Facebook. You can check out on Twitter and, of course, on YouTube if you would like. You can subscribe, Dan's at Home, and you can get the updates there on YouTube. We'd be glad to give them there. And you can also look, there's also Dan's at Home on Facebook as a page, so you can like the page if you want. Appreciate you dropping by this morning. You go out and make it a terrific Thursday, and I'll look forward to seeing you back here bright and early tomorrow morning.